Well, this is the Frugal Gardener, and I am on the Homestead garden. It's been a couple of weeks since I posted. I have been having several issues, some of with my throat, so I apologize in advance if it still sounds a bit raspy. But today is a long-awaited garden tour. I've had some family issues which have been worked out, and it's been a couple of weeks since I put up a video, but it doesn't mean the work has stopped. In fact, quite a bit has taken place. This garden is transforming nicely, and we're going to do a walkthrough. This is where we have been using the auger to drill holes. If you have not seen the previous videos, this is extremely rough soil to work in, and so we have to dig new holes and put in fresh soil. For those of you who are not familiar with my channel, this is a journey that's going to take me 2 to 3 years before we get this land converted into the homestead of our dreams. About 4 or 5 months ago, this is what it all looked like. We have a little bit over 4.5, well, a little bit less than 4.5 acres, and we have been hard at work transforming it. So far, we have planted watermelons. We have planted 3 types of tomatoes. We have the Roma tomatoes, yellow tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, and one of the things that I'm sure it's been hard for you to miss, the new addition. These babies I'm really proud of. I picked these up back around January, February. I knew we would need them. Thank you to the Frugal nephew and the Frugal son for wrestling with these guys to get them up here. These are going to be lifesavers. Each of these holds 170 gallons. So that is what I'm going to use to water this entire upper level of the garden. Eventually, probably next year, you can see there's a place where you can put a hose, and I'm going to end up using a drip system so that this water can run down. On this side, I have cucumbers and cantaloupe, and over here is squash, I believe. I always felt bad about planting squash at the other house because I didn't have the room that it needed to grow. It grew. I mean, I'm happy with it, but now I can really spread them out, and I can really get them going the way that I want them to grow. And I have, as you can see, more things planted down this way. So obviously these tanks are new, and what I've planted is new, but also over here, I'm really proud of this. The Frugal matriarch put this together for me. I went to Home Depot and decided to build, or have my raised garden build, because I don't care what people tell you, you're not going to grow carrots in this kind of clay soil. This is 6 feet by 8 feet. The wood is pressure treated, which means I was concerned about the chemicals getting into the soil. So what I did was, this is industrial grade plastic to keep the soil away from the chemicals, this plastic, it's going to be 15, 20 years before this starts to break down. So I'm in good shape. The problem is the initial expense is not what I was looking for, because now I'm going to have to bring in enough soil to fill this. Carrots are one of the 4 staples that I want to have this year in this garden. And you'll see, I need you to understand that this is a work in progress. I want you guys to come on this journey with me. It's going to be interesting to see all this transformed from just branches and trees and forest land into something that is going to allow us to be self-sustainable. At any rate, I need carrots. My family loves carrots, and I'm going to plant this bed in the spring, well, probably even Saturday, and then harvest these in the fall and replant in the fall. So I'm going to get a lot of use out of this, but I cannot have anything obstructing it, and that's the reason why I went through the trouble of taking this all out and having this put together. This I didn't have to buy. This was kind of given to me, left over, and I'm going to put more melons in this. It's small, but I can put cantaloupe and honeydew melon and a couple of sugar baby melons in this, and fill this also and use this. So yeah, there is a lot going on. We have everything that's being planted. There's a few more things that I still have to get into the ground. We have the raised beds. We have the water. And over this way, we have the Kennebec potatoes. Those are the larger potatoes. Those were last. My goal was to plant 100 potatoes, 100 starters. And I don't think I quite got to 100, but I got pretty close. And over here, this white stuff is the micronutrients that I use. I can, it's as amount. I can put a link to that. It's a micronutrient that will help my potatoes to grow. I had an issue with the neighbor's dog. How do I know? Because I have a trail cam. The neighbor's dog came through and dug up every single one of these. So I had to replant them. And this time, my 7-year-old nephew and I got creative. You can see when these are planted. And we planted garlic around it. And that was the end of that problem. He still comes over, but he doesn't touch the potatoes anymore. It's not just the Kennebec potatoes. I have a bunch of other potatoes, white potatoes, Yukon Gold potatoes, red potatoes, purple potatoes, all the way down this list here, all the way on this row. It's full of potatoes that are now starting to come through. And these are my babies. This is the second thing that I planted, but the first thing to come up. These are bush beans, and these here are peas. So the bush beans are in between, and here on these poles are the beans, but I've also planted pole beans, which are starting to come up. So it's been kind of a learning curve for me, because I used to buy those little quarter packets. I still like them, but you get them from the dollar store, and that's just not going to cut it anymore. I planted over 100 seeds here, which means I had to actually go and buy more seeds. But before I did that, I used all the seeds that I had, and some of them were a couple of years old, so the germination rate was not so great. So this is the reason why I had to go back. here is a better look at some of the potatoes that are starting to come up. But that's it. There's a lot going on. The Frugal Sun is putting in a set of steps, make it easier to get in and out, or up and down, I should say. And using the wood chips, I'm going to do a tour of the homestead, probably in a week once my throat gets fully healed. I guess you can probably tell it's starting to catch up with me. But right now, things are looking good. I'm happy with the progress we're making. And again, sorry it's taking me so long to post this. I hope you guys subscribe and follow along. It's going to be an exciting journey. This is just the first garden, and there's a lot more that has to be done. This is just scratching the surface. There's so much more that I have to show you. And, well, give you an example. There's our water tank, and there's our wood pile. So we're getting there. I'm going to cut this short because my voice is starting to cut out. Thank you for spending part of your time, part of your day with me today on the homestead. Please subscribe. This is the Frugal Gardener. And remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. Catch you guys on the next video.